Principal of Gorham High School, and this is really one of my favorite nights of the year. It is an opportunity for us to share with you who we are as Gorham High School Rams. We're going to be here for about an hour, maybe just a little over an hour, and we've got a bunch of people here. I'm joined by some of our teachers, and we're going to have some students here telling you about Gorham High School, because very, very soon, our students here, the current 8th graders, are going to be high school students. It was great seeing some familiar faces come in. I know some of the parents here have other students who have been through Gorham High School, so you know a little bit about us already, but I also saw some brand new faces. So I'm sure some of you, for the first time, you are having a student come to high school. And I'm sure that that is nerve-wracking. I'm sure some of the students here might be a little bit nervous, but we're here tonight to make this transition a seamless one, a comfortable one, and one that you are excited about. So, goals for tonight, really to find out what it means to be a Gorham High School Ram, to meet some of our staff, meet some of our students, and just get a sense of who we are. I want to begin by telling you a little bit about some stats for Gorham High School. So right now, we have a little over 800 students. Actually, we have about 812 students in our building. By the time your class, our seniors, we are going to be up over 900 students. So that's something to think about, and what that means for us as a community. But right now, 800, we have over 70 professional staff. You're added by an additional 35 support staff. Our students, on average, our attendance rate is around 94%. So what that means is on any given day, 94, sometimes 95% of our students are in attendance. And our graduation rate continues to be in the low to mid-90s. Compare that to a state average of mid-80s. We're doing pretty well here. We have an engaged student body, and we're really proud of that. 55% of our students go on to a 4-year college. An additional 30% go on to a 2-year college. And most of our students are involved in extracurricular activities. If there's one thing that you walk away from tonight, I want that to be to get involved. Over 75% of our students are involved in extracurriculars. And that might be sports or clubs or activities. They're involved in some part of life beyond the classroom here at Gorham High School. All right. Core values that, if you've been a student here for the last, 8 years, you've probably heard a lot about our core values. In other schools, it's called the Code of Conduct. We think of them as core values. These things are alive and well here. In fact, we're going to have, as I mentioned, a couple students come up later on, and you're going to hear some themes of this. In fact, I'll give you a highlight. One of the students, I asked him today, I said, what would you say about how you've changed, or what your journey has been like? And he talked about how he feels like he has a lot of freedom now. He's a senior, and he says he has a lot of freedom. And I said, how did you earn that freedom? And he said, by being responsible. And as I demonstrated responsibility and honesty, my teachers gave me more freedom. So these are alive and well here. And the last thing that I would want you to know as an overview is the guiding philosophy for me and for our school is the value of the 3 R's of education. Now, if you're a parent in the room, you might be thinking 3 R's. You're talking about reading, writing, and arithmetic. Well, not really. We're talking about relationships, relevance, and rigor. At a foundational level, we want to get to know our students. We want to build a strong relationship with them. We know that life in high school isn't always easy, and if we can build that relationship with students, we can support them, and we can find out how to engage them in learning, and we can make learning relevant for them. If students see relevance in their studies, we're going to be able to challenge them to be the best versions of themselves. So we start with relationships, we find ways to make learning relevant, and then we want to make it rigorous so they can achieve great things. All right, I am going to turn it over to Miss Cherry, who is the team leader for our guidance department. So Miss Cherry, meet the students and families of the class of 29.
Hello and welcome. We're so glad that you're here tonight. As Mr. John Drove said, my name is Trisha Cherry. I'm one of 4 school counselors here. And we assign school counselors at the high school by a student's last name. So as I've said to many students this week at the sessions of the 8th grade, you all have a school counselor as soon as you come into the high school. If your last name begins with A through D, you'll have Mrs. Anastasia. If you have last names beginning with E through K, you'll have Ms. Texera. L through P, you'll be with me, Ms. Cherry. And then Q through Z, you'll be with Ms. Stevens. In our guidance department, we have 3 primary roles. We are here to provide lots of academic support, college and career preparation, and social and emotional support for you. If you have something that you need, if you start to feel like you're falling behind, if there's something that you don't have answered, it's a question that's burning, come to the guidance department. Let us be the first stop in helping you solve those problems. We have lots of different support services throughout the building. Some of it happens right out of our office, but it all starts in our office. So we can guide you toward the other supports that you might need, whether it be other learning opportunities, CTE programs, or anything else. But as long as you remember, come to your school counselor, tell us what you're looking for, or tell us what you need some help with, and we'll guide you in the right direction. In order to graduate from Gorham High School, you need to have 22 credit hours at a minimum. This consists of several different types of credits. So you need 4 credits in 4 credits in English, 3 credits in math, 3 in science, 3 in social studies. You need a full fine arts credit, a full PE credit, a full health credit, a technology credit, and then 5 general or elective credits. And those can come from any area of study. In addition to that, in order to participate in the graduation ceremony, you do need to earn 20 hours of community service or more. Many, many, many of our students have way more than 20 hours by the time they graduate. Our standard freshman program for students would consist of your English class, algebra or geometry, earth science, world history 1. Most students will take a world language, some type of art or music, a technology course, and usually you'll have a study hall. And sometimes parents will say, we don't want our child to have a study hall. We have found that students who have at least one study hall in their schedule are far more successful. It gives them an opportunity to get extra help if they need it, and also an opportunity to balance their time and manage their priorities, especially where Mr. John Drove said, we have so many students participating in extracurricular activities that it really gives them an opportunity during the school day to get lots and lots done. So that's what it looks like.
Thank you, Ms. Cherry. So now we're going to start meeting some of our teachers. And first up, we have, I think Ms. Hatch is here representing the English department. Is that right? All right, here she comes. Ms. Hatch representing English. You know, you would think that teachers are very comfortable with public speaking because they do it all day, but there's something very different about standing on a stage, speaking to an audience this large. So please give Ms. Hatch a warm welcome.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming out. It's my honor to be here representing the English department as both a team leader and one of the 9th grade teachers. Your student has a 1 in 3 chance probably of having me in English class. I'm so proud to work here at Gorham. It's a community and a school that values education, and I wouldn't want to work anywhere else. So I think we will take good care of your kids because I think most of the teachers here love what we're doing. In the 9th grade, just to give you a little overview, we cover all the same standards that students have been focused on in their English and literacy work all the way up through reading, writing, speaking and listening and research, and that remains true throughout their 4 years. So we see these as graduation standards. So when they're freshmen, they might only be partially meeting some of those standards, but we're trying to grow their skills so that they can be meeting or exceeding standards by the time they graduate. During freshman year, we try to have a balance between shared classroom texts and student choice. We want to keep on building student interest in reading and so that they can become lifelong learners. But we also want to practice analyzing texts together to build those skills. As they grow throughout their high school career, they'll get more choice in the courses that they take. All or most ninth graders take the same English 9 class at the sophomore level. They get 2 levels to choose between, and the junior and senior year there are 3 levels, plus next year we're piloting the addition of some genre-based semester long courses, so we're pretty excited about that. So I look forward to meeting you students and your parents next year. Thanks.
So next up, we have Fine Arts. I think we have Mr. Murray, and do we also have Miss Dolly? Very nice. So Mr. Murray for music and Miss Dolly from art. Yes.
My name's Miss Dolly. I've been teaching here for 20 years, and I can echo what Amber says. This is an awesome place to work. I love it here. So Fine Arts is a required credit, so you can get that from an art or music class. Students who are really interested in art can take it all 4 years. Classes are designed to give kids experiences with a variety of different media, artists, cultures, movements, as well as develop an appreciation for art. That's probably the most important thing for me, philosophy-wise. Freshmen have opportunities to display their art throughout the school and community, as well as compete in an art show at the end of the year. Don't be surprised if art ends up being your kid's favorite subject, even if they've never liked it in the past.
Good evening. My name is Matt Murray. I'm one of the two music teachers here at the high school. And so we represent the other option or combination of options for the Fine Arts credit. We offer a lot of semester courses, so half credit classes. As art classes, you can get half credit on art and half credit in music, or you can do a full art and full music. So there are plenty of options for that. For our half credit courses, we offer opportunities for students to pick up an instrument for the first time. We offer a guitar lab and a piano lab. So if you're thinking about going to get guitar lessons or piano lessons and paying for that somewhere, I recommend you take it for free here. We have a great opportunity that's there for you. There's also a general fundamentals of music class called Music 1A that is an option for all students, particularly freshmen, ninth graders. And we have a songwriting music theory course that's available to ninth graders. And then I'd say the flagship groups that we have here, classes that we have for the music department, the band, and the choirs. So if you're currently playing a band instrument, I would encourage you to continue to do that next year and hopefully play for 4 years. A lot of my students are surprised to hear that if they take their music class for their first year and they get their first Fine Arts credit, every other year that they take chorus or band, they're getting one of their elective credits. So that's a really great way to fill that out. So the band and the choirs are there. We have a new band lab. We have some students that joined who are learning a concert band instrument for the first time this year. So that's also a possibility. If you played a band instrument in 5th or 6th grade and you didn't make it through middle school but you wanted to pick it up again, that's an option for you without getting into band, which might be a little overwhelming. We have choirs that are designed for ninth graders, incoming singers, brand new singers, people who have never sung before. Singing is a physical skill that can be learned by anybody, and there's no prior experience needed for that. So we hope to sign up for all of those options. We have many students who take multiple music classes and still fulfill all their credits and still have a study hall. So there's definitely a pathway for you to do all of the things if you're interested. So look forward to meeting all of you in the fall. Welcome.
Thank you. And next up, we have Ms. Ramones from Instructional Support. Everybody, Ms. Ramones.
Hi, Hi, my name is Stephanie Ramones. Here at the high school, case management looks a little bit different compared to the middle school. Case managers will remain with your student for all 4 years, so through their high school career. Students may have learning labs where they receive academic, social, and/or emotional support. Case managers also support students with transition planning for what happens after high school to connect their learning to their future story. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Miss Nelson representing the math department. Miss Nelson, come on up. Isn't that a nice picture?
I'm just so glad that that's up there.
It's great.
There's always somebody around this building with a camera catching a candid shot of us. Welcome, everybody. My name's Neely Nelson, and I'm the math department team leader. I just started my 30th year in teaching. I've been at Gorham about 11 years, and I would echo what a couple of my colleagues have said. It is a wonderful place to work. It's also a wonderful place to send your kids to, as I had 2 children graduate from here and raised my family in Gorham also. So I could not be happier with the education that my kids have received through the Gorham School Department. So props to all my buddies over there who teach them. I'm here to outline the various options for math and the scope and sequence from 9th through 12th grade. I'll be as brief as possible. All students, as Ms. Cherry said, are required to complete 3 credits, equivalent to 3 successful years, but the majority of our 12th graders are also enrolled in a 4th year of math, and oftentimes kids decide to double up their senior year of math because we have some tremendous options for dual enrollment college credits and for advanced placement courses. But the typical scope and sequence for 9th graders to either take Algebra 1, and some students will be placed in Geometry Advanced as a 9th grader. After that, it goes Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and then once kids have completed Algebra 2, then that kind of opens the door for a lot of our elective courses, ranging from pre-calculus, AP pre-calculus, calculus, AP calculus, statistics, AP stats, and also, a lot of those classes, like I said, are dual enrollment. We also have a half-credit course that we offer called Personal Finance. This course is essentially everything that a high school graduate could possibly want and need to plan for a successful financial future. And now more than ever, I think it's imperative that we kind of push our kids to take that class before they leave the walls of the high school. It's offered for kids a little later in their years in GHS. We have an amazing group of math teachers here at the high school, and we really do believe in trying to meet students where they're at academically, but also pushing them into areas that make them a little bit uncomfortable and challenge them and allow them to feel successful and excited about math as a possible field of study or a career interest down the road. We really look forward to seeing you guys all next fall, and thanks for coming tonight.
Ms. Manson representing our physical education department. Ms. Manson, welcome.
Hi, good evening. Here at GHS, we offer 2 physical education courses for incoming freshmen, PE 1 and Fitness for Life. The focus of these classes is individual fitness. Students will participate in weight training, group fitness activities. Students will complete fitness assessments, formulate goals, and develop fitness plan to help them reach their goals. Both classes will participate in various net, games, team sports, and recreational activities, with Fitness for Life being for students who prefer a less competitive environment. After a successful completion of PE 1 and Fitness for Life, students will choose from 2 options for the next level of PE. Net games or team sports are offered and taught by Mr. Myers. Students are required 1 full credit for PE for graduation. In their sophomore year, students will also be required to take health. Ms. Drury and Ms. Brianne Corey will teach this course, and in their junior and senior year, they will be required to take health after high school. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Landry representing the science department. Well planned.
This is why I don't do these things. All Sorry. I'm Aaron Landry. I've been a teacher here for 18 years. I started here as an intern in ETEP program, which we have several of here by the middle school and also at the high school. So I've loved it, have kids come through, so I echo everything that other teachers have said about Gorham being a great school and great community. I teach biology. I don't actually teach Earth and Space Science, which are the science classes that freshmen would take next year. But from a philosophy standpoint and teaching science and learning science, we really have kind of two areas that we focus on, right? We kind of focus on the science as a body of knowledge of what we know about the world, which has changed over the last 200 years, where real scientific thought has become a part of the world, right? And so we also have this way of thinking, this scientific way of thinking, which helps us kind of figure stuff out. And if you think about what's going on right now, Brian said that this is his favorite part of the year, time of the year. It's March, and we're in Maine, and the weather's about to change, the seasons are about to change, and we have things happening that are pretty remarkable out there, right? We've got, if you look at some of the buds of trees right now, particularly the ones that come out early, they're starting to get fat, sap's starting to flow. Some monarch butterflies that are in Mexico are thinking about trying to make the return here. They've never been here before, but they're going to make the return. How does that happen? How is it possible that they know when to do this and they come back to the same place year after year? So these are questions that we have, and I hope that all of you have. And our science courses will hopefully help you to figure those out and explore them however you want to. So next year you'll take Earth and Space Science. There'll be a standard level and an advanced level, followed by biology and then chemistry. And then your senior year, there'll be physics. As space, everybody should take physics. But there are a lot of other electives, anatomy and physiology, which is a dual enrollment class. Bio 2, which is also a dual enrollment class, so you could get several college credits. And if you prepare yourself the right way by taking the right classes going through, you could wind up leaving here with a semester or more of college credit between science and language and math. So I look forward to seeing you guys next year, and yeah.
Thank you. Your conversation about monarch butterflies made me think. I don't know if the rest of you have smelled, it's been very skunky for the last week when I wake up in the morning. So I learned, and I don't know if this is something we cover, but March and April is skunk mating season. So don't let your dogs or your pets outside unattended right now, because it's the highest percentage of skunked pets. So anyway, I don't know if you cover that, but I learned that recently. All right, social studies, Mr. Welch, and that's Mr. Welch. He was planning to be here, but had a family event come up. So he gave me a blurb to share with all of you. He wanted you to know that the goal of the social studies department is that students end their 3 required years, so you need 3 years, of social studies with a solid understanding of the foundations of civilization and geography, the historic and economic roles of the United States, the philosophical worldviews that make up contemporary international relations, and concluding their studies with becoming global citizens. For next year, for freshmen, you will take World History 1, and the curriculum begins with the origins of global civilization and geography. It explores art, architecture, culture. You learn the government systems, the major world religions, and humanity's growing connectivity in an early modern world. And the Social Studies Department wants our students to become involved. So that message that I shared with you earlier, to get involved, they would encourage students to be part of clubs and activities. They mentioned the Student Council, and I would share one example. We had a group of students a few years ago who got together and really believed that we'd had 1/2 of a health credit for many, many years. And you think about how the world has changed in terms of health in the last 10 years. And so these students felt like it was important to have 1 full year of health. They got together, did research, and they proposed this to the school committee And the school committee actually passed it, and now we have One Health credit, and that is student voice, student learning, and putting their learning into action, and that's one of the goals that we have here for our students. All right, so that's social studies, and then we have technology, and we have Mr. Perkins from the technology department.
Hi, I'm Randy Perkins. Something I never thought of 40 years ago. I would have been at this stage, would have been a little bit different. I graduated 40 years ago, so I can say Gorham's been here for me for a long, long time. I haven't been here all those years, but pretty much, yes, it seems so. So I represent technology. Technology meaning everything from, we offer 11 different courses between the three of us. So I am what most of us call the closest to shop class. I teach pre-engineering, back to basics. We have an intro to tech class, which many, many freshmen take, which gives us a sample of all three of us. Then we have video production, graphic classes, architectural drawing. We have some entrepreneurship classes. There's a whole bunch of them, depending on what you want. And you can take most of those even as freshmen if you choose. But we highly suggest intro to tech because you get to sample all three of us in one semester. They're all semester classes. You need one full tech credit to graduate. But like many of our electives, I see some kids 4 times easily in the time that they're here. And then, of course, we also help feed into the VOC program or the CTE program at Portland and Westbrook, which most of you, when you become juniors, is when you are ending your sophomore year, when you start deciding if that's what you want to do with that. Again, like many other people, I've always lived here. I had 3 boys that went through here, and all 3 very different. So that's my spiel of what I always end with is, there's a lot for everybody to do depending on who you are. So don't, go that direction. I had one who was an overachiever and wanted nothing. And you need to have everything here, but I also couldn't wait to leave and live out of state and live out of college, spend tons of my money and move to California. Okay? Then I have one who went the military route and then decided that wasn't it either, and he became a teacher. So now he complains he's poor. But regardless, And then I have the one who said, I hate school. I'm just going to do what I have to do, no extra. And he makes more money than the rest of us because he went to school for 1 year, became a lineman, and works for CMP, and makes lots of money hanging off telephone wires, electrical wires. So that's my spiel. Thank you for coming.
And almost last, but certainly not least, Ms. Thiel, representing the World Language Department.
My name is Marissa Thiel, and I teach Spanish. So for world languages here at Gorham High School, we have 3 to choose from. We have Spanish, French, and Latin. So our freshmen will be choosing level 1 in any of those. Oh, Linda's here. Our freshmen will be choosing level 1 in any of those 3 languages. What else? Learning a world language is really important because A, it helps you communicate with other people. It strengthens your brain and actually makes it easier to learn other content. It's very attractive to pretty much any job in the workforce. And most colleges are looking for 2 to 3 years of the same world language. So for example, French 1, 2, and 3, or Spanish 1, 2, and 3, etc. Something else to think about is that we have 4 years. We offer 4 years of all 3 of these languages. So freshmen, you take level 1, sophomore level 2, etc. At a level 4, French and Spanish are dual enrollment classes with USM, and students can actually earn 8 college credits. AP Latin, which is the 4th year of Latin, students can earn the seal of biliteracy, which can also earn them 8 college credits. So that's something really valuable to think about. And we are super excited to have you here with us next year.
Over the last 10 years, we've really focused on career and college education. Many of you know that there's been a big focus on college for a long time. What we've realized here is that college is a tool to an end, and we have focused really on careers so that our students know what their post-secondary education needs to be. And one of the excellent options that we have for students, mostly in junior or senior year, but every once in a while in sophomore year, is one of our CTE schools, Career and Technical Education Schools. So that's WRVC, it's Westbrook Regional Vocational Center, or PAVS, Portland Arts and Technology High School. And there are dozens of programs, and you can see them on the screen here. But the reason I share this, I know it's a couple years away, but I want all of our students to know that we are focused on your post-secondary plans, whatever they might be. Whether it's going out into the career, you heard Mr. Perkins talking about his 3 different kids and how each of them had a different path. And that's what we want for all of our students, to be able to pursue the path that means something for them. And speaking of career in college, we have Eliza Kenigsberg to share a little bit about our Aspire Gorham program with you.
Sort of helpful that I can't actually see you. You can see me. So my name is Eliza Kenigsberg, like Principal John Rose said, and I have the true honor of working under the banner of Aspire Gorham, also working in service of our Gorham High School goal that all students, all of you, by the time you're juniors or seniors, have 1 foot in our school and 1 foot outside of school, 1 foot in the career field that you're interested in by the time you're a junior or senior. And that may look a few different ways. It may look like being part of one of those CTE, career and technical education programs. It might look like taking early college classes in the major that you're interested in pursuing, or, my personal favorite, might look like pursuing an extended learning opportunity for a semester or a year. Those are internships or projects in your career field of interest with a mentor who is a community member. Students who pursue those opportunities, which we hope is all of you, and really is most students, they come back to us in our surveys and our phone calls to them and focus groups and say they feel better prepared for life after high school because they did these things while they were juniors and seniors. And so we see the impact, and we want that for all of you. And you don't have to wait till you're a junior or senior to be part of this. As a 9th and 10th grader, career exploration is really built into your classes. It's in our career exploration events, which we call Career X, in our trips, career treks and service treks. And really the goal is that freshmen and sophomores gain these experiences so they have the clarity about themselves, who they are, what matters to them. So by the time they're a junior or a senior, they feel confident choosing a career field to explore in an in-depth way. We have tons of opportunities for students to do that. I couldn't be more confident that this is what high school students need to be prepared for life after high school, and I couldn't be more proud of the work we do here. So excited to get to know all of you.
Thank you so much. Honestly, raise your hand if you've ever asked the question, why do I need to learn this? Sitting in a class, parents do. Anybody ever asked that question? That question is one that we've all asked, and that's where this comes into play. Because we want to be able to answer the question, why is this course of study important for me after high school? It's that relevance piece that I mentioned earlier. So we have a cycle, and every other year or so, every department connects with people from the outside world who come into Gorham High School and share that connection with students about why is math important? Why is art important? Why is English important? And I could go on through all of the subjects. It's about relevance, and it's about preparing our students for life after high school. All right, what do we got next? Oh, and then talking about college, we have developed a plan, and actually, to be honest with you, we were one of the first to do it, but everybody else is doing it now as well. Our students can graduate from Gorham High School with over 30 credits, 30 college credits. That would be the equivalent of 1 year of college at a local university. And what we are finding is that our state schools are accepting these credits, and even some schools outside of the state will accept them. Many will accept them as elective credits. But we wanted to do this to increase the rigor of our program, help our students financially by getting college credits when they were in high school. So this is a great program. The state will pay for up to 12 credits per year for juniors and seniors. So you got to work hard now, incoming freshmen, to get to this place to be able to get there. But up to 12 credits per year, a total of I should say that differently. Up to 12 in 1 year, 18 over the course of your entire journey, which means that you might need to pay a little bit extra if you go above and beyond that. All right, be involved. So we have tons and tons of clubs for students. We have academic-related clubs. We have leadership clubs. We have, my thing's not,
I got it.
Service clubs. Miss Cherry mentioned that students need 20 hours of community service in order to be able to participate in graduation. The reality is that the vast majority of our students do well over 40 hours or 50 hours of community service. 20 is a minimum for most of our students. They do many more, and being involved in one of these clubs is a way to do that. 42 active clubs, and I just want to highlight our Bee Club. It's the first one up there. This was started because we had a teacher and a student have a passion for bees and beekeeping. They came together, they invited other students to be part of it, and they worked with a bunch of students to propose this to the town. And long story short, we have our own hive, live pet bees, if you will. And every year they sell honey in the school. They've gotten so big that they're actually selling honey to the Gorham Food Nutrition Program, and our cafeteria is including it in meals. So it's just a great way that students have made a difference in this world. All right, sports. We have fall sports and winter sports. Last night I was just at our hockey game. They were in the regional final. It didn't go the way we wanted, but very exciting. Spring sports is going to be starting in just a couple of weeks. So be involved. It's really, really important. So now, let's hear from some students.
I'm Clara Cajuste, and I'm a senior here at Gorham High School. When it comes to learning opportunities, I just had a superior lineup this year. I kind of just loved all my teachers. I think I run into AP statistics a little nervous. Wrong.
What did you come up with?
A nasty number.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not using the standard deviation. Hold on. I was using the mean. I was like, this is a gross number. Mr. Berthium made it very easy to kind of digest it and still kind of be prepared and still have us ready for a test. They put their time and effort into coming up with these lectures, these slideshows. Mr. Landry finds all these labs, he creates them, he puts in the work outside of our singular class. And once you realize that, I think it's much easier to create a connection with them. J'aime le tennis, j'aime le volleyball, et j'aime regarder le football américain. No, le football. I think having hands-on and interactive learning through high school is one of my favorite things, actually. It kind of creates a different type of learning. Madame Chevette's, her French game is actually really cool. These are games that exist in the US, obviously. Now you do it in a different language. But in English, I did a lyrical analysis of Bohemian Rhapsody. Mr. Chavez is very big on showing us that language is used everywhere. I think whether it's through speaking, through writing, through music, through anything you do in life, you will use language. So I think them showing us that the things we learn in their classrooms won't end the second we graduate in June is really cool. I think that's what's my favorite part of interactive learning. It really does connect it back to our real lives and how we're gonna use it outside of our little high school bubble. I'm in band. I've been in band since 4th grade. It's a sport. You can get 40 to 50 people, depending on the year, to feel the same rhythm. The connection we have is very unique, and we're the only group of kids who can be we've been in the same class together for the past 8 years. So I think that's the coolest aspect for me. Sigma Red Ready Mix. Let's do 150. Dual enrollment is actually really cool. You are enrolled as a Gorham High School student, and that is your main school. And you're also enrolled as a University of Southern Maine student. Some are run through Southern Maine Community College, but most are run through USM. So dual enrollment means that you are taught by a high school teacher and you're in a high school classroom, but you're following the USM curriculum. It's your teachers that you know and love. You're with your peers, your age. If you need help, you're emailing out to people you see every day. You will get your high school credit. Simultaneously, you will also get your college credit. And when you graduate high school, if you go to a school that accepts your credit, you get to go to college with a big step up. The dual enrollment system is very nice, and it's such a great opportunity because for kids like me who really do want to go that next step collegiately, it's a huge advantage. And even me, I'm going to an out-of-state college, and they're still accepting it as electives. I think the Civil Rights team is a welcoming, safe place for everybody in our school. And if you have any interest in showing others that you care and you want to make Gorham High School a more welcoming place, I think the Civil Rights team is the place for you. That's another cool thing about Gorham, is that the opportunity to find clubs that are more than just clubs. I think it's just a place to really show love, and it's a place to feel truly safe for an hour to an hour and a half. That's 3. You got the top 4. Your turn gets skipped, and now it's my turn. Adopt a Classroom, I signed up for the first go around, and I think kind of means everything. I think connecting our K through 12 is a big thing that a lot of school systems struggle with. My little brother, he's a 3rd grader. He's at the elementaries, and I've been in his Adopt a Classroom since he was a kindergartner. I think he loves it and I love it, and having it within our own household is fascinating. We have so many kids that do Adopt a Classroom. We have kids fully in the theaters and the arts. We have kids who are 3-season varsity athletes. We have me, who does a lot of extracurriculars and civil rights. Having all types of role models, I think, is so important. We talk about like the mirrors in their windows about children. They need to see themselves, and they also need to see what others can be like. I think that's really cool. The biggest thing I love about Gorham is the opportunities. We pride ourselves on making sure everybody has access to these things, you know? You still have the opportunity to be involved. Teachers are willing to support you, and I think that's just so important for Gorham. Literally, my senior quote was, "Get involved." I did get involved, and I loved it. So I think that's the best.
We are going to end with 2 current, want to have a seat with me up here? All right, 2 current GHS students. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. By the way, they are giving up an evening of their time, so I really appreciate that. Thank you. And I think it's just another example of how our students are really committed to making this community a better place. So would you be willing to maybe name, what are you involved in? And if you've thought about it yet, what are you thinking about after high school? Okay?
Hello, my name is Nasir. I am involved in a couple of things. I'm involved in the MSA, the Muslim Student Association. I also do some sports after school. I did football, and I did a lot of wrestling. And I'm thinking something in psychology, either therapy or counseling. And Ron's definitely helped me out with that.
Hi, I'm Elle Woodman. I'm a junior. I am involved in the musicals and plays here. I am inducted into the Thespian Society. I'm a varsity tennis player. I am in Interact Club, and I'm also the president of Beekeeping Club. After high school, I'm thinking about going into nursing.
Awesome. And I don't know if you said this, did you say you're a senior and junior? Awesome, okay. So you had a chance to experience Gorham High School. How would you say that high school is different than middle school? Can you think back to middle school, and how are things different?
I think when I came into high school, the biggest difference for me that I noticed right away was advisory. When you're in middle school, you have a new advisory every year, and you have that at the start of the day and the end of the day. But in high school, it's a little different. You have the same advisory for all of high school, 4 years, and you actually meet twice a week during the day, which is different, but I've definitely grown to like it.
I didn't go to middle school here. I went to middle school in Portland, but something definitely that I think is, you said different, right?
Or the same.
Or the same, different or the same. It's definitely, there's more, it's big, it's bigger. You kind of grow into it. It's like getting bigger shoes, and you grow into those shoes. It's the same thought, but it's definitely bigger, so it's just you gotta kind of brace for it, that's all.
So I'm going to skip around the questions because you're leading me right there. So if it's bigger, I think one of the concerns is that I'm going to get lost. How am I going to find my way around? So I guess the question is, have you ever gotten lost? And what advice might you have for our incoming 9th graders about finding their way around the building?
I've definitely gotten lost before. It's a pretty big school, like I said, but once you kind of make your way up those grades, you kind of figure out how the school is laid out. And also, just you have to be able to ask questions and ask teachers and be open about getting lost, because you're going to get lost. It's inevitable, but definitely just be open about it. Just ask a teacher, ask someone who has been here, maybe a junior or senior. So yeah, that's all advice. That's all my advice.
I definitely agree. I remember my freshman year, I remember walking in and thinking, oh my God, I'm never gonna work this out. It seems so complicated, but it really isn't. So after a week of walking around with my map, I definitely grew into it all and worked it out. And my advice is, if anyone tells you there's a third floor, there is not.
And there's no pool on it either.
I did spend my first day of high school trying to get to the third floor.
All right, so how has high school helped you grow? Emotionally, socially, academically? Think about yourselves as freshmen, and how has high school helped you grow over the course of your time here?
I think it's definitely helped me just kind of like work out what I want to do thanks to our great opportunities we have. And I think that's really important, and a lot of people don't necessarily have those opportunities. I think social-wise, I think high school is great because in high school you become friends with people who are older than you and younger than you, and I think that's really valuable, and they become people that you know your whole life, so yeah.
For me, it's definitely just the thought that high school it's going to be a big part of your life, whether you want it to be or not. I think definitely accepting that it's going to be a big part of your life helps out, because you just once you're a junior and senior, you realize that you're really involved, and it shapes you into who you are, and you get to choose how it shapes you. So it's a little complicated, but it's definitely a fun ride, and it's going to help you out in tons of ways. It's going to make you grow.
High school can be tough, right? Like, it's not all sunshine and roses. There are difficult times. So who do you have at school to go to when the times are tough? Like, if you're struggling in a class, what do you do? If you're struggling in a friend group, what do you do? Do you have any advice for students? Because it's not all gonna be perfect, right? They're gonna have tough times. So what advice would you have for incoming students?
The biggest piece of advice, be nice and cooperate with all your teachers, because they're gonna be probably the best people to talk to. I know a couple of my teachers that I can talk to about anything, and they treat me like I think of them as my family, honestly. They're really, really involved with me, and I try to be really involved, and we always have this student-teacher relationship where it's just one big family. So it's definitely like teachers is going to be someone good to talk to, and it's going to be a relationship that you won't forget.
I definitely agree. I think at Gorham High School we have really great supports with just like the teacher relationships. I have lots of teachers that I have become very close with, and we also have great guidance counselors, so if you ever have anything going on, there really is always someone to talk to about it.
Okay, excellent. Let's see where we're at here. All right, next question is about freedom. Would you say that you have more freedom in high school, and maybe even, like, the difference between middle school and high school in terms of the freedom that you have, but also how has that changed over your time here at GHS?
I think in high school you definitely do have a lot more freedom, especially when it comes to picking the classes you want. In middle school, you kind of just have to do the classes that go with your grade, but in high school, especially after freshman year, you really get to pick the classes that interest you and do things that relate to your future. You definitely do just have more freedom overall, and with that freedom, I think you definitely have more responsibility as well. You are more responsible for your own work and your own grades, and I think it's a really good turning point where you have to start to grow up and rely less on your parents for things, and I think it's really valuable.
Freedom. So I think that freedom is probably one of the biggest things that you notice once you get into high school. For me personally, I thought it was a bit scary having that much freedom, just because you don't know what to do with it. I mean, you don't know what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do. But I mean, I don't want to talk too much about academic freedom. I want to talk about just freedom in general. Once you get into high school, you build that relationship that I talked about with your teachers, with your principal, with everyone, and you just start getting more respect because you're starting to get older and you're starting to become more mature, and just you're more wiser. So there's a lot of freedom when it comes to that, and it's just it's soothing. It's nice. It's definitely not. It's different, for sure, different compared to middle school.
I kind of referenced this with them earlier this year, but you and I were talking about freedom, and I asked you, what did you do to earn freedom over your time here? And you talked about a couple of things that, and I'd love for them to hear it from you. No, okay, so sorry.
No, it's okay.
So you talked about, like, as you demonstrated responsibility, you felt like your teachers and the school staff gave you more freedom.
Yeah, so I started noticing in my junior, senior year. I became more close with the office staff and my teachers, and even the custodians, the lunch people. They always help us out. So I just started gaining their trust and started gaining their respect, and it makes high school a ton easier for you, especially if you have that respect from them, because it's like an ally that you have. You know what I mean? You have that leniency, you have that free space that you can work with.
Thank you. What about homework? I'm imagining that parents are wondering, how much homework is my kiddo going to have? I think the students here are probably wondering, is there a ton more homework in high school? What would you say about the amount of homework that you have in high school?
Well, I would start by saying definitely don't stress about it. I was very nervous about the change in workload. I think freshman year, it definitely gets more as you get older and depending what classes you're taking. I think it is more than in middle school, but the nice thing is you actually have your classes every other day. So if you have English homework on Monday, it's not due till Wednesday, whereas in middle school it's due the next day. So that's super nice. And we also have longer study halls, so you have more homework, but you do have more time to get it done and get some.
So I'm thinking, Elle, about the every other day piece. Did you have to learn to manage your time for that? Like, I'm thinking I could go home and think, well, I don't have to do my English homework tonight. But then all of a sudden the next day sneaks up on you. So how do you manage your time?
Yes, so it's definitely different. I think being in high school means you have to be able to be productive, which can be really hard, and like you said, manage your time. So I am a notes person. I'm always making notes and putting things on my calendar so I can keep track and not forget.
Thank you, Monsieur.
I'm not a notes person. I kind of just wing it, but I kind of just figure it out.
Honesty.
But don't do that. What I started figuring out is that I kind of have to make a system for myself, and it's like I said, that freedom and responsibility where you have to make that system work for you. And it's different for everyone, obviously, but there's a lot more. There's not a lot more homework, but there is more homework, and it's just you have the time to do it. You just have to choose that time appropriately. That's all.
So both of you have been very successful. So I've got two last questions for you. One is, as a successful GHS student, what advice would you have for incoming ninth graders? If you could leave them with one or two lasting thoughts about what they should be thinking about as they come here, what would it be?
For ninth graders, it's definitely just having an open mind when you come in here. Just keep your brain open to all new information. Ask help when you need it. Raise your hand if you need help. Raise your hand if you know the answer. Like, it's just stick out. Try to stick out. Try to be open about everything. It doesn't have to be about class, or it doesn't have to be about sports, but just having that mindset of being open and just wanting more from your teachers and from your sports. So that's definitely.
My biggest thing to go along with our video would just definitely be to get involved. As someone who I didn't see myself being as involved as I am, but it really has connecting you with the community and people from all over, and I think that freshman year it is really valuable to try new things and take risks and join clubs that you aren't sure about. I joined B Club my freshman year and now I'm the president, and it's really great. So I would say get involved and advocate for yourself. If you need help, get help. If you have questions, ask questions. I think those are definitely the two most important things.
And the last question is kind of an interesting one given your where you sit as a student, but we have a lot of parents here, and they're probably wondering how best to support a high school student, especially if they've never had a high school student before, because middle school and high school is different. What advice would you have for parents?
All right, so I'm gonna speak from my experience and from what my parents did, and that's kind of let me just go and figure it out. It's not completely straining them. Be there obviously for help, but definitely let them figure it out. Let them make their own choices. Let them see what they want to do, and if they don't know, let them figure it out. I think that's the most important part about high school. It's just figuring it out and using yourself to figure things out and find out what you want, what you need, and what you don't need. So I think it's just giving them that patience and giving them space to just have that time for themselves. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's probably the best advice I can give for anyone. Just letting them figure it out.
Yeah, I like the way you thought about that. Like, what did your parents do for you that worked, right? Or maybe, what did your parents do for you that you wish they wouldn't have done, that you could now pass that advice on?
I definitely agree with that. I think high school is all about growing up, and it's a really important time in your life. So I think parents sometimes just need to step back a little bit. I know I definitely had to work out that change with my parents because I was the first kid that went into high school. But I think that has been really helpful and really helped me grow as a person, academically, and yeah.
Okay, but I know both of your parents, and I know they're both involved, right? They're very involved in your lives. So what's that balance point? I'm going a little beyond the script here, but what is that balance point? Because I'm a parent myself, and it's hard to figure out. So is there a balance point for parents? Like, I'm thinking, you know, in their first year, they're probably going to be checking Infinite Campus, and is there missing work? And, you know, that's a good thing, right? And so what is that balance point, would you say?
I think for me, it's advice versus like making choices. I think I definitely prefer when my parents give me advice rather than saying this is what you need to do. So I think my freshman year, it was a lot more choices, and I think as we've kind of worked it out, it's a lot of advice, which I really prefer, just more like leading the way rather than picking what's best.
For me, well, my mom has my Infinite Campus, and she has notifications on whenever I have something missing. She gets it. She's the first one to say, "Oh, you know, the officer doesn't let me know first." What she does is that so if there's a complaint, if there's something wrong, she tells me that there's something wrong. And if I tell her that I understand it, and I got it, and that she would let me deal with it by myself, not by calling the school or emailing the teacher, but if she lets me deal with it by myself, and I do get it done on time or whatever is wrong, she gives me that trust. I gain that trust from her for me to go and fix whatever I need to do. Like, obviously freshman year, when she figured out what Infinite Campus was, she was on that every day, and I couldn't get her off. But the more we understood it together, and the more that I started fixing those issues, and the more she started trusting me into getting my stuff on time, and if there was something wrong, to go and fix it, she started giving me that trust, and I started respecting that trust and respecting her, and it just works out in a full circle.
I think that's a really important message for the students too, that you earn freedom by being trustworthy, by being responsible, by following our core values, right?
Don't abuse that freedom, because it can be stripped away. I think it's a privilege to have that freedom. It's not a right. And so I think it's really important that you focus on what's important and have what you want, not last, but to the side, and focus on what you need to do and what's really the bigger picture.
Please give them a big round of applause. We're just going to end by letting you know what's next. So Miss Cherry is going to be going to the middle school, and she's going to be working with 8th graders about different aspects of coming to the high school, going to be looking at classes for next year, picking schedules. There's then going to be another opportunity later this year for the 8th graders to come here. We don't have a traditional step-up day, and there's a variety of reasons for that, but we do have the 8th graders come here, and it's just the 8th graders where we talk about life at high school. And then, before school starts, we're going to have an open house, and we moved it to before school starts, really for our incoming 9th graders, to be able to come to the building, find their classes. The day before then, it's just 9th graders in the building, and that day is for you to be comfortable, find your classes, figure things out a little bit, figure out how the cafeteria works, all of that. We'll have a parent orientation that night for parents to come to, and that is for 9th grade parents. And that is where we talk about all of the nuts and bolts of, questions that parents have about what's going on, everything from it. We talk about how to handle technology, because that is a tough thing. I was in fact talking to a parent on the way in about, when did we get phones for our kids, and how do we handle that, and what if they're up with a device in their bedroom, and what should I do or shouldn't do? And so we talk about all of that sort of thing. And then we're off and running. But if you have questions along the way, please do not hesitate to ask them, to reach out. If the message for students was get involved, I want the message for parents to be that we care about the work we do and we want to make this successful for all of your kids. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great evening.